What's going on, friends? James the Win here with the Alpha Red Comic Channel. I was looking for the belt buckle that I have for Alpha Red, and I was going to say, it's morphin time! Alpha Red Power. I was never a big fan of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but I did pick up a cool Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book where they team up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really picked it up for the Turtles, but it was a sketch cover, and you guys know that I can't help myself with the sketch covers. So welcome to let me jump over here, to the Alpha Red Comic Channel. I don't know if I said that yet, but here is where we get together and we close out the weekend by drawing and talking about comics. We're going to say hi to Mr. Fong, who was in the chat, but he's off to his sister's house, but he'll be back. Thanks for the warning, Mr. Fong. And Ernest is in the house. Would I be a Red Ranger? I don't know what Ranger I would be. I honestly don't know much about them. I did watch the intro to the original series, and I'm surprised at how familiar it was to me. You know, go Power Ranger. Yeah, it was kind of cool. I watched it a couple times, and I watched them power up, morphin up. It's morphin time. But you know, I just it was a little on the young side for me. By that time, I was getting into girls, getting into trouble, really, honestly. But we're gonna jump in, and we're gonna be drawing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And the reason why Mr. Green Ranger, apparently the Green Ranger is one of the more popular ones. I know there was some controversy with the actor, and then he went and killed himself. But he's still one of the favorites for some people. And I watched an interview actually with the other Rangers who are still alive, who worked with him, and you know, they have some fun stories about him. So apparently he was fun to work with. So nobody was talking bad about him there. But this is the thing that we're going to use. Here is the sketch cover. That's the reference we're going to use. I can't just say the thing that we're going to use. It's the reference. The reference. So I did kind of lay it out. I'm not crazy about all the positions. So we'll go through it, and like I was moving his arm around a lot. So the Green Ranger, and he's apparently a dragon. He was a dragon. That was his animal. Is it like the animal spirits or something like that? So the yellow one, who was the Asian girl, who was a Vietnamese girl, she was a saber-tooth tiger. So she was saber-tooth tiger power. Then the pink one was a pterodactyl. This one's going to be the pink one. Like, I couldn't tell with her helmet what she was supposed to be. But had I realized that they were all supposed to be prehistoric animals, I may have guessed that the helmet would have been a pterodactyl with the nose, the longer nose thing coming down. But they're very diamondy. You know, they got the diamond on the chest here, and diamond on the back, diamond on the everything, on the gloves, on the boots. They're really going into this diamond theme on their suits. So, but hey, that's what they look like. That's what we're gonna do. The Alpha Red Ranger. Ernest, what do you think? The Alpha Red Ranger. I could put on my Alpha Red mask, and this is the handmade mask. So I don't know if you guys are interested in a handmade craft, but I bought some stuff. I was going to make a bunch of these handmade crafty masks here. Oh, why am I showing it up there when I can show it right here? So it takes a little arts and craft lesson to do, but pop it on here. That could be the Alpha Red Ranger. What do you think? Let's go, Power Ranger. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. We'll get back to drawing the Power Rangers here. Mr. J Scott's in the house. What's up, James? Happy Sunday to everybody. Yeah, did I send you one of those? Did you print it out, or did I send it to you? I made one or two, and I sent one or two of them out, but they proved to be too much work. It proved to be too much work for me to do on the regular. I just have a bunch of supplies, so I am. I just kind of chip away at making them, and maybe I'll give them out or put them up for sale when I have a handful of them. But yeah, tell me, are you guys Power Ranger fans? Did you morph with the Power Rangers? And I do recommend this book. It was well written, and the artwork. I don't know if you want to take a peek inside here, but I will be selling this probably for $35 or something like that. But the artwork is really top notch, honestly. The storytelling is important to me. So it had good storytelling and good art, along with a pretty good story. The only complaint that I would have with it is that you kind of jump in and they have already met each other. They're already familiar with each other. They've got some history. This is the third, if you can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it. There, where it's 1, 2, 3. I guess this is the third time they've met. And I have seen online where somebody chose the first time they met as one of their favorite comics crossovers, and they also commented on how good the art was in that one. And I don't know if it's the same person who drew it and how long ago it was, but as they were flipping through it, it did look pretty cool. Mr. Ernest says, I was an OG Power Ranger fan from Japan. Wow, that is OG. Like, did they dub it coming over, or do you speak a little Japanese, Ernest? Are you holding out on us? You got some time in Japan? That would be kind of cool. Like, you don't know what people's histories are, and then you just get into some surprising tidbits of what people do and what they've done. It's pretty cool. So how did you get to be a fan of the OG Power Rangers from Japan? Unless maybe you were from Japan, or you spent time in Japan. Or did they somehow have it out here first as just a Japanese translation before they just used the Japanese action and had shot the stories of the actors in English dialogue? So I've always kind of wanted to draw the Power Rangers, but I didn't feel, I never had the excuse to. But because of my obsession with sketch covers and Ninja Turtles, this happens to be a good fit for me. Let me see. Ernest says, I was born in Japan, and my brother and I had received some of the original show while there in the early 80s. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Were your parents in the military? Is that how you were born in Japan? Or are you Japanese? I did not picture you as Japanese from your avatars and whatnot. and your last name isn't what I would consider a typical Japanese last name. So that's, see, you never know with people. You never know. All kinds of cool stuff. I don't know if you guys remember, but I ran for local office. I don't know how many people you know who run for political office. I lost, by the way. But it's interesting, especially in that world. You start meeting people and you're like, holy smokes. Some people are crazy. And they're the ones who tend to hang around long enough to outlast normal people. And that's how you end up with bad politicians. They're a little obsessed with politics, and they know all the ins and outs. And if you don't get them on your good side, they know how to get you out. And that's what happened with me. I was ousted. But interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Yes, they did use some of the footage from Japan when they brought it over to the US. That is why the Yellow Ranger does not have a skirt, because the original was a male. Yep, that I knew. And I feel bad for the original artist. I mean, the original actor who was the Yellow Ranger, because he was close enough to a female. Apparently, his build was easily translatable, or it fooled little kids enough, I guess, to be a woman. I would find that a bit insulting, methinks. So I was right after I got married. I got married in November in 2000, and so my wife and I got an apartment, and it was my job to go get the Christmas tree. And I'm an artificial tree. I grew up with an artificial Christmas tree, but she grew up with a real tree. But it was my job to go get the real tree from the Christmas tree farm. And as I was standing there looking at trees, a little kid comes crying up to me. And he's standing there, he's tugging on my shirt, and he's crying and crying and crying. And he goes, "Mommy, mommy." And I look down at him, and then his eyes gets like super big when he realizes that I'm not his mom. And it's kind of funny, but then I was like, man, I must be built like his mom. I don't know if I feel worse that she looks a little bit like me, or I look a little bit like her. It was bad. That was bad. You don't want to be mistaken for the opposite sex if you're not trying. I didn't realize they had these little nubbies back here. Okay. I did see them on a a bust that they were selling, like a toy bust. I was like, I don't know what that nubby thing is, but I guess that is a part of their suit, because they all have it on the actual one. Soren says, my father was in the army. My middle name is Toshiro, after Toshiro Mifune. Maybe you'll have to educate us on who Toshiro Mifune was. So is it is that on Okinawa? You know, I always think of Karate Kid as when I think of army bases on Japan, and I don't know if there are more than one army base or more than one military base in Japan. I don't know how big Japan is. It doesn't look big on a map. But what do I know? I've only lived in a couple of the biggest states in the U.S. So, what did I do here? This was this the arm think I did her arm up here, and I did her fist backwards like this, ba-bam, ba-bam, bam. And this was her. This is her, like, her monk pose, her hand over here, and then the diamond on the chest. We'll keep her female because that's how I know her as. He made hundreds of movies. You would know him as from Seven Samurai. Okay, I'll have to go back and watch some of this good old stuff. I'm such a normie fan. Like, I like what I like, but like, I watch it and I know that I watched it, but I don't. I'm so oddly selective about what I remember about the things that I like. So, yeah, I'm bummed that I couldn't find the 3D belt that I had, that a friend of mine made of Alpha Red's belt. And I was going to start the show off with It's Morphin Time. Go, go, Power Rangers. It's a catchy tune. Glad I watched it before the show. That's what's playing in my head. I wish I could, like, show it before I start drawing, but I don't know if there's copyright stuff. Obviously I'm not making any money through views of this video, so I don't really care if I get copyright striked or whatever, as long as they don't, like, take it off. I can demonetize it. Demonetize the non-monetization. Let me see. Your microphone did a sound effect with you and just made it better. Yeah, so let me know if the microphone is no good. So I listened back to last week's live stream, and the sound quality, I mean, it sounded like you could hear most of what I was saying, but it definitely sounded like it went in and out. So let me know if it's still a new setup with StreamYard. They upgraded, whatever that means. So it looks different, and the settings, like, you had to reset everything, and I just hit default on everything, and so if I sound a little weird, let me know. Thank you, Ernest, for letting me know, because I was a little bummed that some of the sound went in and out. All right, we got that. Her arm is up, and we got the three of them. The three Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Maybe you don't want the sound. So enough people were talking about K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix, and I don't have a Netflix subscription, so I was like, I'm not going to watch it. There's no way that I can watch it. And then so I just reached out to my brother, and I said, hey, do you have a Netflix thing? And so he gave me his sign on. So I actually watched K-pop Demon Hunters because enough people in my YouTube space were talking about it, and so I checked it out. And I think if you're a straight male, you wouldn't like it as much. I was like, okay. I mean, the story was fine. It was the art, the animation was great. I enjoyed the animation. It had a lot of heart, but it was very girly, and I was just like, and I asked my daughter if she would watch it with me, and she's like, I'm not feeling well, and I don't want to. I got a lot of things. She's taking some courses that start tomorrow. Some not college courses. She wants to be an EMT, or at least take EMT courses or whatever. And it starts tomorrow, and so she was feeling a little unprepared. So she's like, I can't waste time watching a movie. So, K-pop Demon Hunters. What do you guys think? Did you guys watch it? Fong is back. He's back. Drawing looks more phenomenal. Yeah. Fong says, I'm with Ernest. Super Sentai Power Rangers. Okay. Super Sentai. Okay. But the Boom Studio comics are pretty good. Okay. No, this was good. It was good writing, and like I said, the artwork was. I don't know who the artist is, but he is. I hope they're paying him well, because he did a good job. He could be drawn for Marvel, DC. He could be drawn X-Men. I mean, it's hard because I am more of an artwork person. So I pick stuff up for the artwork, but because I'm trying to be a little bit more conscientious of what I buy, I don't just buy everything that looks good like I used to. There's so many good artists out there. Which leads me to let's talk about Absolute Batman. Did you guys pick up Absolute Batman number 11? I picked that up, and I follow Scott Snyder on Substack. So he puts out like an audio update, and when Absolute Batman comes out, and he kind of markets it, which is great, because then I get excited about it, and I go, okay, I definitely got to go to the comic book store this week and pick it up, because I don't want people telling me about the book, whether they liked it or that they didn't like it. So I appreciate that he gives you the heads up. But he said that, there's a fill-in artist, and the last fill-in artist that they had was a stinker. Woo-wee. I think he did issue number 5. And man, if the story wasn't good, that could just be thrown in the trash. It was such a bad, poorly drawn comic. Issue number 5, whatever. I don't know if it's 4 or 5, but whichever one had the fill-in artist was so bad. But anyway, Scott Snyder said that there was a fill-in artist with this one. I go, oh no. And he said that he had been wanting to work with Clay Man. So it's just the word Clay and then Man with 2 N's, MANN. And I was like, oh, I don't want another fill-in artist, especially if they are as bad as the one was last time. So I look up Clay Man's artwork, and he is fantastic. He's like a combination of Jim Lee, Dan Mora. It's just like a more modernized style, more modernized Jim Lee style. Jim Lee has his style, but it's kind of, not that it's dated, because I still like it. I still like Hush 2. I know people don't like it for whatever reason. They have their reasons for not liking it, but I like Hush 2, and I like Jim Lee's artwork on Hush 2. But it does have a a dated look, like that's how people used to draw. You know, like I hate saying it that way, but it's a little whatever. Instantly recognizable as Jim Lee stuff, but Clay Mann stuff is very much like that, but with like a little Mark Silvestri flavor in there, just like this really cool, slick, but just like even better than Silvestri, an updated version of that also, you know. So I was excited for this issue, and I picked it up, and it is so violent. I don't think I would not recommend it, honestly. It is a hard rated R for violence. I mean, I tried to censor it because I've told you guys I share it with my son, and he was very excited. He wanted to see it. He wanted to read it. I go, I got to think about this, and I don't think that I will share it with him because of how brutal it was. I don't know. Did you guys pick it up? You have a thought on it? Ernest says 11 is in the mail now. I'm enjoying it pretty well story wise. Yes, the story is great. It's just so graphic, and I know what they're going for, and they could have just done it without all the blood and all the. I was like, wow. There's still a drop off in quality of art from Hush to Hush 2, I think. Okay, I mean it's fair. I was comparing Hush 1 to Hush 2, and I thought it was very similar. I thought probably because they gave Jim Lee a 12-month lead time for the first Hush. Okay, I did not know that they gave him that much lead time, but they gave him a bunch of lead time on this too. But I don't think he does as much. I don't think he does as much. Did as much as he does now at DC. He's like the man at DC. I don't know how he has time to get on and do his Twitch stream or whatever. So, but yeah, the artwork is well done in Absolute Batman 11. It starts off a little slow art-wise. I wasn't a huge fan. It's a flashback. It's a story. It tells the story of Bane's origin. So I think he uses a slightly different style. And I was like, that's not the style that I saw on Instagram when I looked up Clayman. And so I was a little disappointed. It's not bad. It was just I was looking for like a Jim Lee, a slicker, more superhero style, and it's more of an indie style in the beginning, and then when they get back to the present day, Clayman turns on his superhero style, and it's pretty fantastic. Okay, I think this was supposed to be Donatello's back here. So I did enjoy the story, and there are some really cool images. I don't want to spoil it. But it was just a rated R movie, like a rated R comic. There's no cursing in it, I don't think, other than the squiggly lines, the $, the hashtag, and however they kind of blur out the use of bad language in the Absolute comics. But just when Bane and Batman go at it, I mean, it just gets ho. And so I blacked it out, as much of it out as I could, in hopes to kind of make it appropriate for my son. But I don't even know. I'll have to look at it again, because after I looked at how much I had to black out censor, I was like, how much of it can he tell, even with my blacking out of stuff? I mean, story-wise, it was great. And the cliffhanger at the end, great. The 2 or 3 pages right before the end, which I thought was the end, you turn the page and it's like, whoa. And then then there's an advertisement, and then you realize there's another page to flip, and then it gets to the end, and you're like, wow, another cliffhanger, another, like, right near the end, there's a reveal, and it's a jaw dropper reveal, which is great. But to get there, you go through some brutal fighting. Let's see if I can use this pencil. See if this will be easier for me to decipher when we start in with the inks here, because it's starting to get a little muddy. Here. Let me see if I... Yeah, you thought issue 10 hit hard? Times it by 2. Ernest. And issue number 11, I'm like, whew. Art is still good for me on Hush too. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have his fastball anymore, but he's still got it, I think. I still have a poster of that Power Rangers image on the top of your reference. This one, the big one here, this is how I remember them. It's awesome. But yeah, that was really good. I don't know if you guys are picking up G.I. Joe. I know, Ernest, you said you were a slow adopter to the Skybound stuff, but that was pretty good. I read that not too long ago, a couple minutes ago, as I was waiting for 8 o'clock. Just kind of like mentally preparing myself for the draw stream. I read the new G.I. Joe, and it was good. It's good, surprising. Not like a killer cliffhanger, but it was like a ooh kind of cliffhanger. So I gotta think through, as I'm doing Alpha Red, how I can keep people hanging on at the end of a comic without making it story dependent for the next one, like kind of foreshadowing future stories, but giving you a complete story throughout that issue. So it's all a learning process. I mean, when you're doing independent comics, you're typically doing it as a hobby / part-time kind of deal. I'm looking at how far my clipboard is, because I want to show you guys the X-Men. The X-Men picture. Let me see. So the red Power Ranger, I was trying to figure out what he was supposed to be. Is he just a dinosaur? Does he say giant dinosaur when he morphs, or when he powers up? Dinosaur, does he say big dinosaur power when he calls on the big triceratops? I mean T-Rex. Is that what he screams out? That he's a dinosaur. My daughter and I were trying to figure it out. what he yells. Jay Scott says, I'm loving Absolute Batman, but in general, I don't like fill-in artists. It just usually throws everything off a bit. For sure. Like the vibe, like Nick Dragato has a certain vibe. And I don't love everything about what he's doing, but it's a good fit for the comic, and it has like a feel. It's just right for Absolute Batman. And then when they have any fill-in artist, you're like, ugh. But yeah, this guy's good. I don't know if Jay Scott, you picked up issue number 11, but the artwork is good. It's just brutal. Whew. Whew. I went to the Energon Universe panel by Skybound at Comic-Con. There's some crazy stuff coming for G.I. Joe. I mean, they're adding more Transformer type stuff to it, Energon stuff to it. So I hope there's more of that because it's cool. Jay Scott says, I like the composition you got going on this cover. It's working well. Thank you, sir. So that's why I want to show you the X-Men thing, because it has that same feel. Hang tight. I'm just gonna walk over here. All right. Because I showed you guys last week, right? The project, the Advent project that I was working on, and this is like my sanity when I'm drawing stuff that I don't necessarily. It's not filling me up, like inspirational wise. I know that I need to get it done, but it's not as fun as superhero stuff, and so that X-Men is kind of like, all right, I'm kind of done putting in like the work for the work drawing, the work art. Now I want to have some fun, and so I pull out that X-Men 97 team and go to town. So it is a mix of Jim Lee's X-Men and X-Men 97, and I'm considering throwing Nightcrawler in there because Nightcrawler is a big part of the X-Men 97 cartoon that I liked, but he's not in Jim Lee's X-Men from 1991. Was it 91 or 92? 90, 91, 92? Whatever it was. That was the bee's knees back then. All right, I gotta fit his. That's his shoulder. That's his. There's a shell back here. What the shell? So no, anybody watch the K-pop Demon Hunters? Did that hit your radar? I heard enough people talking about it. I was curious, and I watched the trailer, and so the trailer looked like it had a good story to it, and the story is good. It just feels very feminine, but it's got a lot of action. The animation is fantastic. Let's see. Mikey's got his nunchucks here. They're going crazy. Going crazy up here. T-Rex. Okay, so he's supposed to be a T-Rex. He screams out something dinosaur. Ernest, I swear. Red Ranger says Tyrannosaurus. Okay, maybe that's what I'm hearing. Like source. Okay, all right, Tyrannosaurus. That makes sense. Funk says, I started watching K-pop Demon Hunters, but I paused it. Wife said it was too scary. Hey, they do it well. They did the animation well, for sure. Wow, that X-Men looks incredible. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll finish watching it later. Yeah, it was good. Good. Late for the party tonight. Hey, everyone. What's going on? Patrick Daniel. Thank you for joining us. Everybody hit that like button if you haven't already. That tells people you're watching something good. And maybe they'll pop in and maybe they'll stick around. We had some people pop in last week, was it, guys? kind of last minute who are chiming in. I appreciated that. All right, I'm going to snap a picture. And then we'll get to the inks. I'm doing, so I moved the microphone over to the other side so that it's not hitting my drawing hand. And there's not a lot of room on this side, on the left side. So, all right, let's get down. Here we go. Let's see. Funk says, is this a record for number of characters drawn in a stream? It's close. There's one that I've not finished that I keep meaning to get back to. Let me see. That's not it. This might be, depending on, let me see how many people in this one that I never finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9. There's 8 in here. If I could fit 2 more. I'm missing the Black Ranger and the Blue Ranger. So should I add all the Rangers? They're gonna get smaller and smaller in the back. But I feel like if your favorite Ranger is the black or the blue, you'll be mad if they're not in here. But we'll try to squeeze them. Let me see. That'll make for 10 characters. It is not easy fitting this many characters in a picture. But George Perez makes it look super easy. But when you have this many, I guess it really doesn't take that much longer because they're mostly covered up. It's just hard to kind of make them look cool. That'll be the Black Ranger. And where can I stick Blue Ranger? I'd hate to have him like, well, let's do blue up here. Yeah, so I was watching an interview that the Black Ranger, the Pink Ranger, and the Blue Ranger, the actors, were doing on a panel at the Niagara Comic-Con just this past year. They seemed to get along really well, and they had some really cool stories about their time. Somebody asked them about working with the Green Ranger and if they had stories about the Green Ranger and the Yellow Ranger. I don't know if the Red Ranger was there or not. There was only 3 people in the shot, and it was the Blue, Black, and Pink Rangers. So, and he was supposed to be the Triceratops, right? And they were very kind. They were very kind about their other Rangers, about the Green White Ranger. I know that he had some issues, some mental issues or something. All right, we'll retake that picture. So it was good to hear that they had fun, and the Green Ranger guy sounded like he was a hoot. It sounded like they really he brought some life to the set because of how unpredictable he was. And the Vietnamese girl, the Thuy Trang. They said she was super sweet. So, all cool stuff. So here we go. Hopefully, I can do these Rangers justice here. And I am leaning heavy on these reference pictures because I thought they were more similar than they actually are. They're all very different. They're all very different. All right. Just stick with doing the overall details here. Just the general shapes. And then we'll, because that'll help make them look like them. And then we can get into the details. Details. And just as I say that, I start going into the details. Can't help myself. This is the dragon helmet, I think. And then when he comes back, he's the tiger. Tiger power. I think this is dragon power. So I was showing my daughter some of the stuff, and she's like, "Are they supposed to be teenagers?" Like, yeah, I think they are. She just rolled her eyes. She just rolled her eyes. Actual teenagers don't stay teenage looking. Unless you're Tom Holland and you're like 5'5". And then you can be a teenager forever. Let's see what I'm missing here. Patrick Daniels says, "Can you ever have too many Rangers?" Apparently not. You just keep changing out the actors and animal things and the themes. 6 Rangers and 4 Turtles equals 10. Yikes! That's a lot of characters. Perez was the GOAT of group shots. This was even his contribution to how to draw segments on in Wizard magazine. Yeah, it's unbelievable how he was able to squeeze everybody in. Perez was the master of multi-character crossover events. Absolutely. I really wish they made a poster of his cover for JLA Avengers #3. There is still time, I think, because they're doing a bunch of the crossover stuff. So I think that is not out of the question, I don't think. Austin St. John, who's the actor for the Red Ranger, has had some legal trouble for taking an illegal PPE loan for COVID. So he doesn't show up for public appearances much. Gotta stay legit, y'all. He claims innocence, of course. Benny, brother Benny in the house. I met Jason David Frank, Green Ranger, at Nickel City Con years ago. He was very positive and upbeat, and it's a shame he was dealing with mental health issues behind the scenes. I hear he's a Christian too. A buddy of mine who was a Power Rangers fan, who was in ministry. My buddy said that he had been openly professing that he was a Christian. Jason David Frank was. I don't know if that's true or not, but he had him sign his arm. That was kind of cool. I heard about K-pop Hunter, but probably won't be checking it out. Not my kind of thing. No. So it really probably isn't my kind of thing either. Like, unless you're really jonesing for an animated thing with lots of action. Like, the action's good, the story's good, but it's very, very female, very feminine. That's all I gotta say. It's like, because they sing a lot, but the whole thing is kind of predicated on singing. But they make that part of the storyline too. It's not just like a musical. They're they're a musical band, but that's part of the story as demon hunters, that their voices, their songs kind of keep the demons at bay, and they're about to kind of close the door on the portal if they can finish their tour or whatever. And then if you watch the trailer, the demons form a boy band to kind of steal the fans away from the three girls who do the K-pop song, the K-pop tours or whatever. And it's got a lot of heart. The thing has a lot of heart. But so there's lots of singing because there are boy bands and girl bands and bands, lots of dancing, which I must confess, I had an older sister that turned me on to a lot of that kind of stuff. So I didn't mind the boy band, girl band stuff, the dancing and the poppy music. I don't listen to music much anymore, so there's no real preference. I'm not a big music guy. I like music when it's on, but I don't. It doesn't necessarily have to be any kind of special music. Like I just like beats, melodies. It doesn't matter. I'm always singing. It annoys my family to no end. But so I didn't mind that too much, but it's not something I seek out anymore. Musical stuff. Spend too much time on YouTube listening to podcasts and trying to educate myself. So not much else goes into the brain. That is that. Funk says Jason David Frank was a Christian. He had a clothing line called Jesus Didn't Tap Out. That's why. So somebody did have me draw a picture of the Green Ranger, and we were at a show where Jason David Frank was there, and they had him sign it. So they brought it back over to me and showed me, and they said that he liked the picture a lot. So I'm sure he would say that for anybody, but I like to think he really did appreciate the picture. But yeah, no, that does ring a bell. Following that, he had that clothing line. So yeah, I don't know the whole conspiracy, but I know that when he committed suicide, like there's some mean-spirited people who came out. I don't know, was he a jerk at some point? I just he had some people throwing some shade at him after he did that. I was like, man, let the guy, obviously it's not ideal. You don't have to hate on a guy who took his own life. But some people are going to do that. Some people just don't have those boundaries, I guess. Like the circumstances around the suicide were weird too, right? Because he's like in the middle of a divorce, but he was with his wife, and they went out to dinner. They were going to make up or something weird, and then she goes down for a drink or something like that, and comes back and he's hung himself. Crazy. At least that's how I kind of remember hearing about it. So was he in MMA? Did he do like mixed martial arts after his Power Ranger days. I know he was in the middle of making another movie. He was in the middle of a lot of things, I think, before he died. I just remember watching a YouTube live, or not YouTube, Facebook Live, and he was on his way to a signing somewhere in California. And he was apologizing to the fans because he was stuck in traffic. But he wanted to go live so people knew that he was on his way. And he was talking about all the different projects he was working on, the movies he was working on and stuff. And sounded like he had a lot going on. So was the Green Ranger and the White Ranger storyline, was that in the Japanese version also? Or did the American version kind of do what was best for what American audiences were into? Or was it like a universal kind of thing that the Green Ranger became super popular and over in Japan too, for whatever storyline that was they were going through with that? I'm surprised they don't do more stuff like that, where they just kind of take masked things over in Japan or in another country that creates some of the content that's more hard to make, and then just put other actors like the normal country actors, whatever country that's in. You guys know what I mean. You know what I mean. I wonder if they do that. Like I said, I'm just kind of busy creating my own stuff, and then busy with the stuff that I like. Real work is a big project I'm working on. Keeps me a lot away from a lot of stuff. Funk says his older brother committed suicide while he was on Power Rangers and hit him hard and caused him a lot of guilt. Okay. So his older brother committed suicide? Was his older brother, so he committed suicide while he was doing Power Rangers. Not necessarily that his brother was on Power Rangers. I don't know why I thought that. Like, wait, I didn't know his brother was on Power Rangers. But you're saying that while Jason David Frank was on Power Rangers, his older brother committed suicide. I think that's what you're saying. So yeah, it would hit me hard too. Everything. I mean, the suicide is just, gosh, you never want to experience that. I don't think, having a loved one commit suicide. It's got to be so tough. You know, a lot of girls that I graduated with, like 3 of them, their father committed suicide. It's like, that's crazy. What are the chances that 3 girls from high school that I graduate with, their fathers commit suicide at some point? And I went to like Catholic school, and so it was not like a poverty thing, or everybody seemed to have money, but my family, we were there with financial aid. Young immigrant family gets a lot of help from the church. The church was very good to us. The Catholic Church was very good to us. All right, let's get in here with. I don't know if we'll go through all of it or not. I hate to keep you guys. Let's see how fast this goes as we work our way to the other characters, because they're hidden. So hopefully they'll take less time to do. Hopefully they'll take less time as I move through. Obviously, we're not going to color it. That'd be, whew. So as I'm working through this Advent book that I've agreed to do, I think I've decided that I'm not going to do that anymore, because I really miss working on Alpha Red. Like, I'm thinking about the story. I'm thinking about some of the scenes. I want to be drawing Alpha Red right now instead of doing anything else, honestly, outside of work that I have to do to put bread on, food on the table. But creatively, I feel like I just want to work on Alpha Red. And I took on this other job because I wanted to take the pressure off of the crowdfunding. Just because everybody's having such a hard time with crowdfunding. Everybody, their disposable income is shrinking. And so until whatever political changes take effect and kind of get us out of all this overspending from the government, reducing the value of our dollar and all that, till all that dust settles, we will all be a little bit more judicious with our disposable income. So I just thought this would help me not have to think about that, not have to worry about that. Not that I needed any money right away, but I'm really missing working on Alpha Red. I had goals set. I wanted to finish issue number 8 by the end of the year. But the longer this current Advent project takes, the less likely that's going to happen. So, a little sad about that, but I'm not giving up yet. It's still possible. It's not impossible until the end of the year. So we'll assume that is still, that Alpha Red number 8 is still a possibility. Punk says he made it a point to listen to everyone's problem without taking care of his own mental health. Yeah, I just didn't understand what other problems he was having that everybody was hating on him so much, which led to him taking his life. Yep. Later. Yep. Unfortunate. Where's the number 5? So I did break down and order new pens of this brand, the Pilot Precise Rolling Ball V5 and V7. So I am so happy with the rediscovery of these pens. Much better, much preferred. I prefer it over the Microns, which I still have. I have some brand new Microns, and maybe, I don't know. I hate to think that in a couple of years, I'm like, these stupid Pilot Precise rolling ball pens, they're the worst. And then I pull out my Microns and go, oh, I forgot how much I liked the Microns. I hope it's not like just the idea that I was frustrated with the Microns, that I like these so much. They just give me more ink. They give me more ink when I want it. Oh, I forgot to finish coloring in his eyes here. And so I did put in an order for like boxes, 2 boxes, a 12-pack of the V7, and then a 12-pack of the V5. It's 5mm and 7mm. I don't know what the V stands for in their thing, but it's 5mm, 0.5mm, I believe it was saying. But after years and years of inking my own stuff early on, that was my favorite brand. And then as you grow up and you have a little bit more money and you find out a lot of your favorite artists are using Micron, like, well, I want to use what they use. And the grass is not always greener on the other side. I just gotta say, it's fine at first, but there's definitely some drawbacks with the Microns. Definitely some drawbacks with the Microns. Mainly, my frustration was that when I would go to, other than it drying out super fast, when I go to erase, it would take up some of the darkness of the ink. Super frustrating. And then I would have to go back in and re-ink some of the stuff if I wanted it to be dark. So it just a time saver if you can just lay down those that ink one time. But you must erase. So when you erase and your ink comes up, you got to decide if you want to waste the time re-inking it or crossing your fingers and hoping that you can do something digitally to save those lines. So I still have not seen Fantastic Four. I must confess. I do want to. I wish I had the time to go see it, but as fast as they're pulling these things from the theater, I do not have the time to catch it. I think this weekend is the last weekend, so I think they'll pull it sometime like Wednesday or Thursday, so that they can put in new movies or whatever. And I don't foresee having the time between my Advent project and the my work project. To go see it in the theaters. But hopefully it'll be like Superman, and it'll be on streaming or available on streaming in short order. Because I do hear that people still like it, you know, the people that I know who have seen it still swear that it's an enjoyable movie. Microns rock. I think you're being facetious. Are you being facetious, Mr. Patrick Daniel? It wasn't too bad. Liked it better than Soups, I think. See, so that's what I hear. Some people were saying that they liked it even better than Superman, and they said they liked Superman. So I was like, oh, that's great. I want to see it in the theater. It's just a matter of time. Time, why you run away? I'm not comfortable with that foot yet, so I'm not going to ink it. Let's see if I can make that foot a little bit. I don't want to phone it in here. I want to phone it in. It'll be what it'll be. Methinks. Let me see if I can sell this martial arts pose with her hand fist thing back up here. Can I sell it as a cool martial arts pose here? I know what I was going for, but let's see if I can make you think that it's as cool as it looks in my head. Kind of want it just like, so this is her thumb would be right here. And like, where would her elbow be? I don't want to rush that either, because it's looking like her arm is just a little too long here. You can maybe dial it back down a little lower. Let's maybe a little bit higher, somewhere in between here. Maybe just ignore that wrist part that I've laid in ink already. And not too bad. It's gonna have to be okay. We have to live with that. We don't have to live with that. Live with it, live with it, live with it. Very good, very good. Let's see. A little diamond action down there. Make sure you get her ankle. Ankle, ankle, ankle. Patrick Daniel says, not at all. I love my microns. For a while, it was all I inked with, besides the almighty brush. I thought you were a brush guy for sure. Al Nickerson, he, I think he spits on the floor when you say micron. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I thought he was a brush guy all the way. So I thought you would be too, but you were on the old school wavelength there. All right, and then this was supposed to be her hand over here. Hand goes up for a martial arts type pose. And then we'll come back in with the larger width to kind of outline it and give her and separate her from the background. And as I fill in the characters in the back, I want to make sure that Green Ranger here pops out, stays front and center in your visual so he doesn't get too far lost. I was looking at Skin Breakers from David Finch and Robin Kirkman, and I don't know when that comes out. I think you can order it now. It comes out in the fall, and they were kind of going through some of the detail that that he includes in this book, and it is crazy the amount of detail David Finch is putting in to Skinbreaker. It just reminded me, just because he was talking about what a hard time the colorist was going to have, because he drew like every stem on a leaf, like the details that he put even into the leaf. He wanted to put all the veins into a leaf. And I don't know, for whatever reason, like as an artist, I get it. You kind of, if you know that it's there, you kind of, as a comic book artist, you have to determine if adding it takes away from where you want the reader to be looking. And so it didn't seem like he was holding back. He was not using that as a guardrail for what he included in the picture. It seemed like whatever he wanted to draw, he put it in. So I'm looking forward to that. So are you guys excited about Batman and Deadpool? The Batman Deadpool crossover. Anybody? I know when it was announced, I was super excited about it, because I believe Greg Capullo is doing the artwork on the Marvel side, the Deadpool Batman, and then Dan Mora, who does Superman, I believe, with DC, and he's coming to Transformers also. He's doing the Batman Deadpool, the DC version. So does that excite you guys? I'm getting some sketch covers, one for each, and it didn't sound like it was on my comic shop's radar. And it sparked a discussion about whether Deadpool is overexposed at the moment. Everybody agreed that he was, so there wasn't much argument. Just an acknowledgement that Marvel is out of ideas. Is it Marvel that's the House of Ideas? Isn't that their tagline? Or is that Disney? The House of Mouse? Marvel is the House of Ideas, I want to say. The House of Ideas. All right, let's get her mask going. Let's get this mask helmet. Gotta get it. Gotta get it right. Gotta get it right. Gotta get it. No? Nobody excited about Deadpool Batman, huh? Nobody excited. 10-4 on that. Maybe it'll pop on our radars when it actually comes out. And we'll just have to have it. Gotta have it. Until we see more interiors. We're just not as excited about it, maybe. I just assume it's gonna do okay just because it's Batman and it's Deadpool. Seems like a no-brainer, but maybe people don't care. Maybe they're overexposing Batman, overexposing Deadpool. All right, I think I'll draw a Pink Ranger here. And then I'll draw Leonardo, and then we can call it quits for tonight, and then maybe I'll do a bonus sketch tomorrow or some other time this week to finish it up. I don't want to go too far past 9:30 if we don't have to. I know my wife was away today. Went to the New York State Fair. No, you guys have fairs around where you are? Is that a thing? I know when I was in Harrisburg, they had what they called Capona, which was like a fair along the river, the Susquehanna River, around downtown. It was just really a place where you can eat poorly. Like you can go downtown for like an amusement park kind of thing. They had some rides and they had but it's a big deal up here. Everybody asks, so when are you going to the fair? I'm like, not this year. Like, what? Why aren't you going to the fair? I don't know. I grew up going to Hershey Park. So Capona fairs and the rides and stuff just aren't, they don't I don't think of them that way, I guess, anymore. Although I did go to the fair 2 years ago and I really enjoyed the rides. Took my son, but it still doesn't land on my radar. I don't know how else to put it. This is supposed to be like her leg back here, so I gotta make sure I'm telling myself that it's not a part of Green Ranger. Crouching Power Rangers, Hidden Turtles. Yeah. Let's see how much I can do here in the next 6 minutes or so. Next 6 or so minutes. So you guys go to fairs? Do you do the cotton What am I thinking? Sugar cotton thing. Cotton ball? Was it? You guys know what I'm talking about. Does that stuff excite you? See, that's her shoulder, that's her hand, that's her arm here, that's her elbow. It's a little design in her other thing. That's her neck. All right. We'll get the bigger, thicker line. Get her pterodactyl mask. Is it more? It's a little squared out back here a little bit. Maybe. There it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Anybody see any movies this weekend? Was there anything that came out that was supposed to hit the fandom? I keep hearing about this Weapons movie. I'm not into horror movies. It looked like a horror movie to me, so that will not be something on my watch list, but I hear it's got the buzz. Anybody see F1? I hear that did well. I don't know if that's still in theaters or not. There we go. There we go. Anybody watch any movies? Oh, what'd I miss? Patrick Daniels says, I remember a small diner on the Susquehanna River when I was a kid. Great food. Nice. Let me think of, it was The Spot. I don't know if it was one or two streets up, but The Spot was downtown. We made the greasiest, bestest Philly cheesesteaks. I do try to go to the Vidalia Onion Festival, my old hometown. Nice. Do they have rides, and do they have why can't I think of the sugar cotton thing? Cotton candy. That's it. That's what me was thinking. Cotton candy, funnel cakes, all that stuff. I tried deep fried Oreo the year I went to the fair, because that was all the rage. Everybody was talking about how good deep fried Oreos were. They are delicious, yes. What they taste like is chocolate cake. It's battered. They take an Oreo, they dip it in batter, and then they deep fry it. And what comes out, and then when it comes out, they put powdered sugar on it. And so it just tastes like a very smooth, sweet, rich piece of chocolate cake. That's what I thought anyways. That's how I would describe it. But so I went to a thing at my church for the youth, and they were just deep frying everything. They had a deep fried whatever. They said, just bring it and we'll deep fry it. And they just had some batter, and you could bring, they were deep frying bacon. That was delicious. What else did I have deep fried? Just like everything, anything that you could think of, they were deep frying it. What was it? Pop-Tarts. Deep fried a Pop-Tart. That was a little much. I got it. It was like so sweet. I did not hold back that night, and regretted it very quickly. But yeah. Jay Scott said he saw F1. Great film. That's what I hear. I gotta see it. They have a few rides and all that. Mostly onions. Lots of onions. Okay. All right. This is a yearly fair in Savannah. All the rides and foods. Love the big turkey legs. Okay. I don't think I've had a big turkey leg at a fair. And the pig race. That's some hometown right there. That's some hometown fun. I think that would be fun. No, I guess in Harrisburg we had the State Farm Show, and that's where you would see the pig racing. So there was no pig racing at the Capona, which was like the local Harrisburg type fair. But I hear great things about F1. Because I think they re-released it in IMAX. I think it came back out to IMAX, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was part of the reporting that I heard here over the weekend when they were talking about how bad the box office has been for the summer. I'm just kind of going for some of this stuff because it's getting late, and I just want to finish Leonardo back here before we call it an evening. So we're just gonna wing it. What else fun deep fried food did I have at the youth picnic? Because I was trying all of it. They were deep frying like Twizzlers, just random stuff. Kenny bars, Snickers. That was good. I mean, if you can imagine, anything that's battered and then deep fried, they were doing it. They did the normal stuff too. Hot dogs. They deep fried a hot dog. Deep fried some regular food, and made it even yummier. But yeah, all that grease, you quickly regret it. Pretty quickly regret it. So Patrick Daniels, a fan of microns. Wait till I tell Al Nickerson. Wait till I tell Al. You're in big trouble, mister. Big trouble. But my wife was, her plan was to never go to the New York State Fair, just because she's she's a brat. That's what she is when it comes to certain things. And when you ask her too many questions that annoy her, she just doesn't want to do the thing that everybody else is doing. So because so many people ask her what she likes best about the New York State Fair, and she's never gone. She said that her plan was to never go to the New York State Fair for her whole life. That's how much of a brat she is about things like that. But my son wanted to go, and she will do anything for her kids. And so they needed a chaperone, because I said, these teenage kids, they take liberties if you give them too much leash. So she's the perfect chaperone. She's got a good head on her shoulders. Like me, I'm a bad chaperone because I'm like, hey, I was a kid once. And then I'd probably let them get away with too much. But she doesn't mind being the bad guy. So she took my son and a couple of his friends to the state fair. And so she broke her own rule that she was never going to go to the state fair. And she said she'd go with me. I went, and I told her I didn't mind it, but I just didn't have the time to be the chaperone this time for my son. And but she said she didn't hate it, so she would go with me. She said, not this year, not again this year. It's a 10-day fair. And so she said she would not go again this year. Probably not next year. So 2 years. She said that's the earliest she would go with me. And the kids might be out of the house by then. She's probably looking for things to do, etc., etc. All right, guys, we are getting there. Probably 2 or 3 minutes away. So I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. If you have not hit that like button or that share button or that subscribe button, I would appreciate it if you would consider hitting those things. It brings attention to the channel, which brings attention to Alpha Red. People are curious about what Alpha Red is. Maybe they're not. But Alpha Red is my independent, faith-based comic. And I would really appreciate it if you guys went to alpharedcomic.com to check it out. Check out where you can pick it up. Issue number 7 will be available to ship out on September 1st. And I appreciate all you guys who picked up issue number 7. I hope you enjoyed it. And help support independent comic books, and especially Christian comic books. If you're a Christian, I know there's a lot of Christians out there who are skeptical that comic books can have edifying values. But I like to think that Alpha Red, it's that sweet spot of fun, action-packed, keeps your interest, and honors God. So please check out alpharedcomic.com. Please subscribe to the channel. We're going to call it for today, guys. I'll try to pop on here sometime this week and finish this up. more Ninja Turtles, more Power Rangers, all that good stuff. I think, let me see if I, don't get me in trouble now. Microns, just give up. Just don't sing the praises of Microns too loudly when Brother Al is around. I do love the old Winsor Newton Series 7. I'm going to try out some brush pens for sure. But guys, thank you for hanging out on a Sunday evening. I hope you enjoy yourself. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we will see you guys next week or later on during the week where we finish this picture. Until then, grace, peace. I'm going to hit some buttons and then we are out.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.